It has been way too long since I did Joseph's story. I'm so sorry. These past couple weeks I got so busy, but we are back. We're just going to pick right up at 41, going into Pharaoh's dream. And let's sit tight because this is a very long chapter with a lot of different parts in it. So let's get into it. So 41 is Pharaoh's dream. And this is when it starts to get really good for Joseph because he's been in the trenches for 2 years now. I'm going to also read Pharaoh's dream just so we're on the same page. So it says 2 full years later, Pharaoh dreamed that he was standing on the bank of the Nile. In his dream, he saw 7 fat, healthy cows come up out of the river and begin grazing in the marsh grass. Then he saw 7 more cows come up behind them from the Nile, but these were scrawny and thin. These cows stood beside the fat cows on the riverbank. Then the scrawny, thin cows ate the 7 healthy fat cows. At this point in the dream, Pharaoh woke up, but he fell asleep again and had a second dream. This time he saw 7 heads of grain, plump and beautiful, growing on single stalks. Then 7 more heads of grain appeared, but they were shriveled and withered by the east wind, and these thin heads swallowed up the 7 plump, well-formed heads. Then Pharaoh woke up and realized it was a dream. Next morning after this dream, Pharaoh wakes up and he's very disturbed, and he calls all his magicians and all his wise men, so all the sorcerers and stuff, to tell him what this dream meant, and not one of them could tell him what it meant. Here comes the chief cupbearer, and he's like, wait a minute, actually, I'm reminded of my failure, and 2 years ago, a man told me about a dream that me and the baker had, and he basically replaced to Pharaoh, you were really mad at us, and so you sent us to jail. And while we were in jail, we had 2 dreams, and a man named Joseph interpreted our dreams. Side note, I just like that the chief cupbearer literally reminded him of what he did. Let's not forget what you did to me. But anyway, he's like, we told the man, he interpreted it very well, and everything that he said came to pass. And Pharaoh's like, all right, set him up. Set him up right now. Before Joseph goes before Pharaoh, though, he has to kind of clean himself up. So he shaves, puts on better clothes, and then appears before Pharaoh to interpret his dream. I love this part because Pharaoh basically tells him, I've heard that you can interpret dreams. And Joseph verbatim goes, it is beyond my power to do this, Joseph replies, but God can tell you what it means and set you at ease. It goes back to that even in Joseph being forgotten, being sold, being kidnapped, he's still giving God glory. He's still giving God the honor and praise. He's not trying to take any glory of his gift of dream interpretation, and even before Pharaoh gives God all his due. Pharaoh recites his dream to Joseph, and Joseph is like, okay, so God is telling you exactly what's about to happen, and he's warning you before it does. He's like, the 7 healthy cows and the 7 healthy heads of grain represent 7 years of prosperity, which is a blessing. Because the 7 thin cows and the 7 thin heads of grain represent 7 years of famine. He says that the 7 years of famine that's about to come to Egypt will be so great and so crazy that they'll forget the 7 good years of prosperity that happens in Egypt. He tells him the fact that you had 2 similar dreams means that this is a decree by God and he will make it happen very soon, so prepare. Joseph tells him, you need to find someone